heilige Rebbe Rabbi Shlomo's grandson, asked one of the Chassidim, was a big businessman. He says, "Are you ever going to Kosovo? You know, Kosovo is Vishnu's great-great-grandfather. And Kosovo was singing. He says, "Are you ever coming to Kosovo?" He says, "Yeah, in fact, I have to go." It was like between Pesach and Shavuos. He says, "I have to go to Kosovo. Just do me a favor, bring me back a little melody." So, comes back, he says, "Rebbe, I'm so sorry. I couldn't make it for Shabbos. I was in Kosovo only on a weeknight. And bei Sefiras Haomer, the heilige Kosovo was like humming a little melody under his nose. It was not much of a melody. So he sings it to the Rebbe. The Baruch says, "I tell you, this is what I send you for this little melody." Well, I tell you what it is. At the time of the Heilige Baal Shem, one of the pupils of the Heilige Baal Shem bought a field from a non-Jewish neighbor. And then he begins to dig in the field, found a treasure. So he went back to his non-Jewish neighbor and he said, "Listen, I only bought the field, but obviously you didn't know there's a treasure. I'm giving you back the treasure." He couldn't believe that there is someone in the world who's so honest. Could have stolen it, taken it. So he invited the whole village to the bar that night. Haomer became rich. And he got drunk like that. And he got on the table and he was singing this little melody. And he would say, "Great is the God of Israel. Great is the God of Israel."
How's it go?
I don't know. What way? You know what the strangest thing is? After Sefiras Haomer, we say, "Rabbi Shlomo, Rabbi Shlomo should give us back the Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. Let us serve you again in the Beis Hamikdash." Why didn't it say they have to put on film? After I'm learning, every time I'm learning, I would say, "Rachman Yasalon is the Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash." Okay, so in order to learn here a little bit Ishmael from inside. And before that, in order to make it clear, I have to tell you a story from the Yiddish Kodesh. I'm sure most of you remember the story, but this is a story which you almost have to have in your pocket all the time.
What was your point in the other story?
What? I'll come to it, right?
That was part of it.
Sure, about it. Yitzchak, you're always 10 million miles ahead of your poor brother.
Or behind.
You're always ahead, but Yitzchak, yeah, go out. Anyway, just blessed with my head should work, you know. Anyway, a Yid comes after Sukkot, and he has a golden plate. And he says to the Yid Kodesh, "Rebbe, can you please bless me? I have no children." God forbid, we should have all children. Children should be well. And he says, "Rebbe, bless me with children." And he brings him the golden plate. Right. Try to sneeze. Thank you. So the Yiddish Kodesh says, this golden plate would be gewalt. I'd love to put it under my Chanukah lamp, and I kill the Chanukah lights. I would like to put it on this plate. And you know, basically, you only have to bring to the mikveh, vessels you eat from. But still, Chanukah, I want you to go and toivel it in the mikveh and bring it back to me. You know, in Pesach, the mikveh was 300 steps down, because there was no water in Pesach. They had to dig 300 steps, and they found water. Obviously it was cold, it was dark. They didn't have electricity anyway. Then when you go down with a candle. It was so hard, and cold. The Yidden goes down to the mikveh to cover the golden plate. The golden plate falls on the mikveh and he can't find it. Mamish, you know, remember he looks on the bottom of the mikveh with his hands. You can't find it. He thinks to himself, now it's after Sukkot. Until Chanukah was Chanukah Kodesh, forget about it. Forget it, that's it. Erev Chanukah morning, the Yiddish Kodesh says to the Chavre, and Rabbi David Lela was also there. He says, tonight my Chanukah light is going to shine like crazy because I'll put the whole thing on a golden plate from this Yiddish. My way. The Yid has to go back to the mikveh. Never. He wants back to the mikveh. And you know what it is? He realized one thing was clear to him. If I bring the golden plate, tonight, obviously, the Yid HaKodesh wants to open gates for me in heaven which are closed. So if he had by the Chanukah lamp, he has the golden plate under it, he'll think of me and he'll open the gates for me. And obviously, if I lost the plate, that's so simple. God is letting me know, that's true. The gates are closed. That's so simple. The Yid goes down to the mikveh and his mamish dying. It's so cold and mamish can't find it. You know, he sit down for a little. I mean, there's enough space. Right. You hear? Mamish, he's there in the water and he's mamish crying, begging Hashem, please let me find the plate. And he's mamish in the cold water and he's mamish, you know, feeling around with his hands the bottom of the mikveh. And each time he says, I have to go out, I can't, I'm dying from cold. Let's try it one more time. To make it short, the Yid is there for hours. And finally he's just saying, I have to leave. Please give me back the golden plate. Suddenly the golden plate swims on top of the mikveh and he has it. Okay, he goes back to the Yid HaKodesh and he doesn't say a word because the Yid HaKodesh knows everything anyway, you don't have to tell him stories. And Rabbi David Lela knows everything also. So at night, when they kindle the lights, Rabbi David Lela says to the Yid HaKodesh, how could you be so cruel? Obviously, Yid HaKodesh stays so often. He says, how could you be so cruel? So the Yid HaKodesh says to him, do you think every little prayer opens the gates for children? You know what the truth is? Seder night, Mamash, God opens all the gates for us. All the gates for us. What do we believe? Remember, we're learning it the whole time. That the gates God is opening for us the first night of Pesach is beyond us. It's not, let's say, I'm 5'7", and this according to my spiritual measurements. But God gives me like infinite, right? So have a taste. Right? Everybody knows Seder night. When you can reach Seder night, you cannot even reach Yom Kippur. Because even on Yom Kippur, I have to ask for forgiveness. Say, Rabbi Shlomo, not so good, forgive me, promise I'll do tshuva. Seder night, I'm not saying, God, forgive me. I'm not even promising God I'll do tshuva. Even that I don't do. It's just like, I'm beyond everything. How much beyond? And then, right after the first night, for us, after the second Seder, it's taken away from us. Because it was just a gift. But now the question is, how much are you crying for it? How much do you want? Come in. Hey, Heilige Moshe, Heilige Ursula. There must be some chairs here. Sorry.
Not yet, not yet. I'll talk to you after.
Heilige Moshe. It's okay. Yeah, but let me make it fast before I forget what I want to say. This is mamish deep stuff. Why am I making always mistakes? Why am I making so many mistakes? So Yom Kippur, I say to God, listen, last year on Yom Kippur, I was angry with you, I ate a hamburger, I didn't fast. This year, I promise I'll be good. On a certain level, that's very sweet, right? On Pesach, Pesach is mamish getting to the roots of everything. Pesach is a holiday of Avraham, right? Pesach, I'm receiving as much as my roots contain. But you know, my roots have also roots, right? By a tree, there are roots, and the roots of the roots, and the roots of the roots of the roots. And maybe my roots are good, and the roots of my roots. But obviously there must be a little bit of roots inside of me, which are not so good. You know how much it takes to change my roots? It's like the prayers of this golden plate. Os, os, os. I want to tell you something. Let's say, for instance, I think I mentioned to you, you know, besides all those big gedolim, when I was in Lakewood at the beginning, I was a Yid, a Polish Yid. And he said when he was 7 years old, he saw the Sochet Shover. You know, the Sochet Shover was the son-in-law of the Kotzker Rebbe. Listen to me, Charlotte, as much as I love you, but you're a mamish covering up knowing me.
Oh.
You don't mind? Promise? So he says to us, you know, just to give you a taste who the Sochet Shover was. The Sochet Shover learned Shas only one time when he was 7 years old. That's it. After that, he was Machadish, he was writing new Torahs day and night, he had no time to learn. And you know how poor he was? In the winter, he was lying in bed with blankets. He had no money to buy coal. And he kept the ink under him. The ink shouldn't freeze, shouldn't become ice. So he should be able to write with ink. And later on, in later years, he had already, was when he Rebbe, so he had a little money. He says, you know when the gates of heaven were open for me? When I was lying on the ink to warm the ink shouldn't come out. Come out, right? Anyway, one time by the Sochet Shover in this Nugget came, and the Sochet Shover said, the Torah says it's in Megillah and tractate in Megillah of Zion. So this Misnagit has a chutzpah to stand up. He says, Rebbe, you're making a mistake. It's not of 7 pages, the 11th page. So Sochet says, you know what? Why should we argue? Bring in Gemara. Next is Sefer V'Nachzeh. Let's see what that is. So they're bringing the Gemara and the stuff Zion, like the Sochet Shover said. Sochet Shover says to him, when did you learn Megillah last? He says, last week, or yesterday, remember. Sochet Shover says, I tell you, the last time I saw it when I was 8. So the Yid says to us, you know how the Sochet Shover looks like? You think when you looked at him, you saw a human being? It was a living Torah, right? When you looked at him, you saw the whole Torah, right? You saw the whole Torah. And you see what it is? I'm getting out of Egypt, right? But I have to change my roots a little bit. Because God gave me so much of light, how much am I retaining? You know, it's so crazy. I'll tell you something. Just last week, I was somewhere, and I saw a girl who was in Brother Goldstein's yeshiva, right? And I couldn't believe what I saw. First of all, she's a JC friend. She believes in JC, and she's marrying a non-Jew. And what was her problem? I'm sure she's a good girl, but there was something, her roots are not cleaned out yet. When your roots are not cleaned out, you can't take it. You can't take it. You know how much?
Take the light.
I'm sorry, what?
You can't take the light.
It's too much, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Uda Mamash, you know, you're always saying the right thing. The Izbitzer says the world is not afraid of darkness. The world is afraid of light. Kabbalah is the world afraid of light.
When you dissolve, you become
What?
afraid the light's going to take over you.
No, because they can't take it.
They don't have a vessel for it.
Don't do the rest.
Yeah.
But didn't Rabbi say once there's a part of you that you can't fix? Didn't Rabbi say,
You wait. Mamash Yudah, you're right, but let's get to it. Mamash Yudah. Tonight the Kabbalah, Mamash Kabbalah. Everybody is in good shape.
Eretz Yisrael, you bring back Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah. And also Charlotte, she was in Israel.
Basically, I tell you, after this one time, after that, I will really not permit any interruption, because I can't take it. No, because we can talk here, everybody, but my head isn't so strong in my shoulders. No, I can take the light, but what do you want to say?
Can't take the interruption.
When you say light, I mean, you know, what's more light? You know, the real emes, or it's easier to take something that's less than what's totally real, because there are many ways to well, you know, it's...
I hear what you say. You see, you and everybody, basically, we all mean the same thing.
In Yiddishkeit, you can't make it into your own suit of clothing. You have to accept certain, and
Yeah,
it's easy
I
to
tell
take it
you.
the other way.
I'll tell you a very simple thing. Let's say the Amshnover, right, in Yerushalayim, where it began. How many people go to him Friday night? 50, right? And the big synagogue, Rabbi Goren is the big shul, on Shabbos have 2,000. Or why didn't they go to Amshnover? It's too much for them, right? Because, let me tell you, why didn't the whole world come to Mount Sinai? It was the vessels for them. Simple as it is. Let me tell you something else. Why is the world, why do they want to wipe out Eretz Yisrael so much? Nobody wants to wipe out the Japanese or the Germans. Eretz Yisrael, center of the world, right? Awesome, right? Okay, now let me knock off the Torah before we get the mounting in. This is a Torah mamish from Sefiras Zmanim on Shavuos. One second. Not even here.
You get to measure up?
No, it's, I don't want to start looking now. It's somewhere down there. I examine it. Okay, I have to add something. Everybody's asking, you know, yesterday was Pesach Sheni. This one, you know, Hashem, Tuesday night we had a Gewalt verbringen Pesach Sheni Yerushalayim. The car was just was so sweet, you know. There was one young lady, she heard we had Pesach Sheni, and she thought like the Seder. So she made a lot of Torahs. It was so sweet, you know. It was mamish between. It was the best voice I've had, you know. It was like so. You could mamish feel. She made it with all her heart, you know. It's unbelievable. Anyway, and then last night, looks like 100 years we had in London. I looked around and asked people in all of London, all the who knows so many Yidden, there was not one Pesach Sheni to bring. And they announced it on the radio, and anyway.
You had quite a few people.
Yeah, but you know what was heartbreaking? The heartbreaking thing was that all the people who were there were not religious people. Because religious thought, who needs it, you know, because she will eat a piece of matzah, I'll make a phone call, you know. And they're right. Remember, until the word Shem, Pesach Sheni, Heilig word Shem Tov brought back Pesach Sheni. Well, we need Pesach Sheni. Anyway. Okay, I'll make it very fast. If you remember, they came before Moshe Rabbeinu and they said, we couldn't bring the Pesach, we could not bring the Korban on the 14th day of Nisan. And why are we the worst Yidden in the world? Are we Yid brothers? Why are we not so good? Why weren't we privileged? So Moshe Rabbeinu says, wait, let me ask God. Which is really awesome, right? Moshe Rabbeinu knows the whole Torah. You ask Moshe any shayla, he'll tell you right away. This time he said, you have to ask God. So who were they? One says, the Gemara, that it was the people who carried the coffin of Yosef, Aronish of Yosef. And Rabbi Kiva says, I think it was Rabbi Kiva, who says that it was the people who carried Nodav and Avihu, took them out from the Holy of Holiest. And if you remember, Nodav and Avihu left this world Chodesh Nisan. Anyway, to make it very short. And here I'm giving you the whole thing in a nutshell. What's Nodav and Avihu all about? This is mamish the deepest. You know, you can have everything in the world. I said it, mamish, in Yerushalayim, there were so many young people there, you know? You know how many thousands of young people come to Yerushalayim, and then they leave a little bit disappointed? Those who are not disappointed stay, or at least come back. And 80% are a little bit disappointed, and you never see them again. Heartbreak. Who are those who are disappointed? Because they want so much more. They want so much more. Brother Staten is really at work tonight. Don't keep on sister. Couldn't be anybody else. Right now, please sit down, and can I ask you, Chava, for 5 minutes, could be... You always give me good advice. Okay, Chava, please. You know, there is something inside of every person. I mamish want the most. Mamish want the most. How long does it take to give up that I'll never find the most? sometimes takes a long time. Sometimes it doesn't take a long time. I want you to know something awesome deep. We were learning it 1,000 times. Imagine if the Yidden would have found in the Torah everything they want and more. We wouldn't have made the golden calf. And here what you want to open your it's the deepest. What was the fixing of the golden calf? That we came, Moshe Rabbeinu came back and he gave us Torah Shabbat. Who is the master of Torah Shabbat? Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says, Musa Yodi V'Akimenu. Rabbi Akiva is ready to die for the Torah 1,000 times a day. Basically, you don't have to die for the Torah. God doesn't want us to die. I mean, I'll run out and look for someone to kill me. That's not the point. But you know what Rabbi Akiva says? You know, I'm not going to die for something which doesn't mean everything to me. I like bagels, I'm not going to die for it. I like the Allgemeine, I'm not going to die for it. For Gemara, I would die. Sefiras, I would die. Schleim, I would die. I have to tell you something which happened to me during the 6-Day War. You know, I was playing for the soldiers, and you know what it means, mamish, to give your blood for Eretz Yisrael? Mamish, physically to give your blood for the Holy Land. Awesome. I saw all the soldiers, the wounded soldiers, and one Shabbos, I'm going with some of the Chavra, and mamish, I tell you, I don't know what happened to me. I thought with Rabbi Shlomo, Gewalt, what a privilege. And I must have, I guess I meant it with all my heart at that moment. Something happened to me, you know, sometimes you fall asleep while you're walking, or whatever it is. I just fell to the ground, and I hit my head on a stone. As mamish, I couldn't believe, what a privilege. And mamish, my blood was flowing from my head. It was okay, you know. But at least I had the privilege of leaving a little blood on the holy Eretz Yisrael. You know what Nodaf and Aviyah realized? We're fixing the Egel Azov, right? We built a Mishkan. But maybe you still don't have what you're looking for. Maybe you still don't have it. And you see what it is? That what you're looking for is Asher L'Tzivu Hashem. It's not written black or white. Mamash, you have to do it on your own. What's Torah Shabbat? I'm on my own, right? Rabbi Akiva, on my own. Remember we're learning who is the Rebbe of Rabbi Akiva? In order for Naviv. Remember the two sons of Aaron? They didn't, the Mamash that went in, they want the Mamash give their neshama to God. So the people who carried Nodaf and Avihu, they do one thing, you know, because we're asking, if you didn't do a mitzvah in heaven, it's considered like you did it. Yeah, it's considered like you did it, but I really want to do it. I really want to do it. Imagine, let's say my brother Tzvi will ask me a favor, right? And then a day later would say, you know, I asked already somebody else, and it's done. How will I feel? I'll be happy that someone did it for Tzvi. I will be so broken. Why did I have the privilege, right? That's right. So, the people who carried Nodaf and Avihu, you know, I want the most, right? Okay, after 150 years I come up to heaven, the accountant of God said, oh, they say that, yeah, you couldn't do it, but it's considered like you did it. Yeah, thank you for the accountant in heaven. And Mamash want to say that. Mamash want to do it. You know what it is? I told the Chavre Yishleim, what did Nodaf and Avihu bring out to the world? That whenever a Yid is crying for more than that, there should be a place where Yid can run to. Well, what's Kodesh Kadosh? Kodesh Kadosh when a Yid, Mamish, we don't have to. I'm not doing it because I have to. I want to. I want to. The Gemara says, basically, God created the night for people to sleep. And yet the Rambam says, and everybody knows, the night is the best time to learn. During the day you learn in school, at night, long. You know, especially, you know, all the great Kabbalists, they weren't learning during the day, they were learning also. It's not the same thing, right? Night, late at night. Awesome, right? Imagine we would make it Seder during the day. It would be beautiful. Why is the Seder so beautiful? It's at night, right? Awesome, right? So here I'm going to the other part. I want you to know something. You know what Rachel did for her sister Leah? Rachel is engaged to Yaakov, right? Rachel is engaged to Yaakov, and then, if you remember, Yaakov gave a secret sign to Rachel that if he knew Lavan was going to put Leah under the chuppah, they give each other a sign. So Rachel goes and gives the sign over to Leah. Let me ask you something. If Rachel would call up any rabbi in the world, do I have to give over the sign to him? 100% not. Asher lo yitzivu Hashem. You don't have to. Let me ask you one more thing. When Yosef sees his brothers, they sold him as a slave, destroyed his life. He could yell at them a little bit. Say, listen, brothers, you know, with all due respect, but probably you think you're holy people. You're not. Look what you did to me. You know what he says? Don't even be sad. It wasn't you doing. Who can masik that? Because we always think it's tzaddik is somebody who's doing everything 100% right. Everybody has to do 100% right without being a tzaddik. Yosef, what tzaddik wanted the most. I want you to know something very, very deep. Why was Yosef, what tzaddik, privileged to feed the whole world, especially feeding his brothers? You know what it means to feed you? That I want you to be alive. You know what happens to me when I yell at somebody? It makes them half dead, right? Yosef HaTzadik wanted so much that everybody should be alive. Where did he learn it from? His Holy Mother. Can you imagine Leah would stand under the chuppah and Yaakov starts yelling, get away from me, you're Leah? She would survive. She'd be half dead all her life. I said the Gewalt Torah. What happened that night? Basically, Yaakov cannot marry Rachel anymore because he's not permitted to marry two sisters. What happened that night? Rachel was crying all night, Master of the world, like the golden plate. Master of the world, don't do this to me. It's too late, right? Like Pesach Sheni. You see, the first person who brought down the Pesach Sheni into the world was our Holy Mother Rachel. Because Yaakov heard a voice from heaven. Yaakov heard a voice from heaven that he should marry Rachel. And you know, as I was saying, learning Yerushalayim, that when people get 40 days before a person is born, a little voice is calling out, a baskul yotzes, whom you should marry. I said, who is that little voice? That is the voice which told Yaakov to make Carlebach. The deepest prayer. Like the golden flame. So deep. Want you know something? When they called out Rivka to Yitzchak was very holy, it was not that baskel from Rochel and Yaakov. It was based Rochel and Yaakov. After she gives this woman to Leah, forget it. Oh, so right. So the people who carried the coffin of Yosef, Mamish, they knew that there has to be a Pesach Sheni. And you know what it is? This Pesach Sheni has to be the deepest. It has to be the deepest. So I just want you to know Pesach Sheni is always before Lag BaOmer. Do you know how much you have to love a person that should tell you their secret? Rabbi Shlomo says the most awesome Torah in the world. Listen, I am married to this girl for 2,000 years. But you know what's the problem is she never told me a secret. She doesn't love me. Rabbi Shlomo says the Torah only tells you secrets that the Torah mamash loves you. When the Torah loves you so much, then the Torah begins to tell you stories. Can you imagine? So you see Rabbi Akiva brought down not learning Torah, is dying for the Torah 1,000 times. So his greatest pupil, Rabbi Shimon Yochai. And I want you to know, everybody knows, on the day Rabbi Shimon Yochai left the world, he was giving over secrets like Nodaf and Avihu. After you tell them, you cannot stay alive anymore. I want you to know something in the Yiddah Kodesh, talking about the Yiddah Kodesh, was in the second day of Chalamoid, the Heilige Reb Shlomo is Kanon, the Rabbi Shlomo, and I forgot, one of the big rabbis was sitting there. So the Rabbi Shlomo says to somebody else, you know, today you can be Meyachet, the Yichud in heaven, but if you are Meyachet, that Yichud you can't live anymore. So the other one says, the way I know the Yiddah Kodesh is going to do it. You really left the world. You know, Rabbi Akiva says, Rabbi Akiva was saying Torahs on the crowns of the letters. Crowns of the letters. And here comes the deepest Torah in the world. You know, the pupils of Rabbi Akiva left the world because they didn't give honor to each other. Let me tell you something. Do you really know how much honor you have to give to another person? And here, I want you to know the deepest depth. There's a story from the Melech Margaret, which is awesome. You know, but the Baal Shem Tov at the beginning, Friday night, he would give kavod to the great scholars, the Rebbes. Friday night he would kavod to the Pushta Yidden, the simple Yidden, to the tailors, the shoemakers, the thieves. Shabbos morning would only be the great rabbis. One Friday night, all those great rabbis felt so bad. You know, it didn't give even shiraim to them, nothing. This gun of this thief, this Unterweltsmensch, this lost brother there, and he gave him so much honor. And the great rabbis were sitting there. Shabbos morning, he was sitting with the rabbis. And the Baal Shem Tov could feel the angry. So the Baal Shem Tov says, do me a favor, put your hands on each other's shoulders and let's make a circle. What did the simple tailors and shoemakers and little thieves, what did they do Shabbos morning? They were not invited to the feast. So, they were sitting in the synagogue and praying, setting the sound. So when they closed their eyes, made a circle, suddenly they could hear the way it sounds in heaven when those tailors and shoemakers daven. here, listen to this. Sefiras Haomer is, I'm crying for the great light which I once had and God took it away from me because I had no vessels. You know how much we're losing in the course of our life because we didn't have vessels for it. Awesome. How much time we lost. How many opportunities to do somebody a favor. Everything in the world. You know? And again, friends, I want you to realize Izbitzer says Sefiras Haomer is mamish a whole life, right? It's a whole life. So, you hear what it is. When do I mamish give honor to another person? You know, the question is, did you ever hear the other person praying like for the golden plate? Do you know how much they're crying inside for everything? You see, if you would listen to your own prayer, remember, how did King David write the Psalms? He said to God, let me hear how it sounds in heaven when the whole world is praying. So while David HaMelech was writing the Psalms, because he had like earphones, and he could mamish hear the whole world praying, the way it sounds in heaven. One more thing, you know. You know who's crying the most? The Torah itself. The Torah itself wants to teach us so much. Remember, Rabbi Shlomo, someone came to Rabbi Shlomo and says, Rebbe, I'm all alone in a village, I have nobody to learn with. So he says, the moment you say, Omar Rov, Rov is coming to teach you. You say, Omar Abai, Abai is coming. Remember, the Rabbi Shlomo says the difference, he says, between me, Rabbi Shlomo and Sorot. He says, when I'm learning, and after I'm learning, I see Abai and Rov, I'm happy. Sorot Shabbat doesn't begin to learn until he sees Abai and Rov. That means when I learn, the Torah itself wants me to know it. And the way the Torah wants me to know it is the deepest. Well, you know something awesome. What is the greatest honor I can give to a person? When I say to somebody, Mamish, I want to know the deepest depths of you. I want to be privileged to hear your prayers for the golden plate. Awesome. You know, sometimes you see a very ordinary person, but he's only ordinary because he doesn't believe that his prayers are turning over heaven and earth. Anyway, I just want you to know, in order to have a Pesach Sheni, in order that God should give me everything I lost through a Pesach Sheni, it's too late. And here I want you, Mamash, to blow your mind. According to the most Kabbalists, Amalek attacked us on Pesach Sheni. Anybody here knows that or not so much? You know, Amalek came between Kriyas Yamsuf and Chodesh Sivan, right? The Yov Amalek. According to some, he came on Pesach Sheni. It's like about Seven. According to some, he came on Pesach Sheni. According to some, he came like Bohemian. Even mind-blowing. Right? What's Amalek's biggest? Amalek says two things. Amalek says it'll never last. And second, after you fall, you can't fix it anymore. What's Amalek saying to us? We're going to Mount Sinai. Amalek says, I'm sure you'll have a little Jewish attack for 3 days, you'll be from, right? And after that, you'll be the same. You know why? Amalek does not believe that you can change the roots of the view, change your inside. Change your inside. Really, Mamish, inside. You know what Donovan Navi is all about? They realized, yes, we made a holy temple, we are cute, we are frum, we are sweet. I want more than that. The Kavosim Rifnei Hashem. I want Mamish to be on the brink of dying. I want it to mean so much to me. I want it to mean so much to me. You know, everybody knows Donovan Navi is a Yanovi. What's the Yanovi all about? The Heishvel of Ovasabon. And again, Mamish, want to bless everyone, myself. You know why children are so angry at us sometimes? Because they realize, I mean a lot to my parents. But it's not the way the Torah meant Rabbi Akiva. It's not the way Mamish, they're ready to die for us. They're ready to give me their money. You know, here you have a few more rubles, take a trip to Bermuda. The Kavosim Rifnei Hashem. So close. I want you to know something. If the whole world, you know what the Izbitzer says? Har Sinai did not bring the world back to God. Yerushalayim will. Because if we Yidden would mamish daven, when the whole world would hear us daven, they would come running to Yerushalayim. Let's do it, Malka Mashiach. The Mashiach is coming, and do it, Amelach is Vanis Philosophy, right? The davening, turn over the world. Mamish turn over the world. And you see, friends, this davening, this one davening, where I turn over my roots, not that I change myself. Mamish, you know, let's say Chesed Sheba Chesed. I do. You know, Chesed Sheba Chesed, I want Mamish, the Rebbe Shem, to shine into me, that I should love. Gevurah Sheba Chesed is so deep, you know. I should have enough. You know, we let the best things in this world figure. So, guts, you know, Gevurah Shem, to hold on to what God gave you, right? It takes a lot of Gevurah. Imagine I'm buying a Gemara and I'm sitting on the subway and someone's taking away my Gemara. I'm holding on to it. How much are we holding on to? I just want to know one more thing. We have to make a little stop. You know what it is? Aaron HaKohen is hard. Let me just tell you fast. Chesed is love. Gevurah is strength. Sefiras is beauty. Netzach is eternity or commitment, right? It's got to be really committed to give it for always. Aaron HaKohen is hard. Hard v'hoden. Hard v'hoden. Hard actually is beauty also. V'hoden is coming back. I want you to know something on a very simple level. You know what height is? When it happens the first time, it's the first. When after I lost it, it comes back again. That's height. Do you know, friends, who gave us the strength after the golden calf to build the holy temple? Because Aaron HaKohen made the golden calf. Aaron HaKohen realized that someone else is doing it, they'll never come back. Aaron HaKohen, Hoyt V'Hoda. Listen to me, I meet somebody, I love this girl very much, think she's my soulmate, I lost the telephone, right? Sefiras. She's so beautiful, I can find her. Then I meet her again in Hong Kong, right? my old example. That's Hoyd V'Hod. You know when Mashiach is coming? You know, I was always telling my friends, I'm not sure if in the time of the Holy Temple, when we came to Yerushalayim, the outpouring of the heart was so strong, like it's today. Because it's Hoyd V'Hod. The real Hoyd V'Hod. Before I forget, I have to give you over a story that's mind-blowing. You know, I was Shabbos on the Moshav, and there a young person came, he's a rabbi, and he's a pupil of Rabbi Shlomo, and he told us a little story, which you heard from Rabbi Shlomo Soloveitchik himself. Rabbi Shlomo was, when he was 8 years old, he was mamish dying. He was so sick that Rabbi Kadisha was already there, and his father Rabbi Moshe was going out of the Neuro. I had once in my life I saw him, it's Gewalt, and awesome. And suddenly, and he was almost lying like that. Suddenly, he sat up in his bed and he said to his father, "I'm okay." So this is the story. When he was 5 years old, he went to a cheder. And that cheder, I don't want to say anything bad. You know, I just want you to know something. I'm sure you know this, that some of the Rebbes, you know, and you think every Rebbe in this little yeshiva that puts really Yiddishkeit into the kids. If they would take poison, it will hurt less than what the Rebbes put into it. They poison them against Yiddishkeit because what they see, the Rebbe. Before I tell the story, I just want to tell you something about my own daughter. I want you to rest Neshama. So Neshama was going to the super Fumi school in Toronto. There's a girl there whose parents converted. Mamish, a non-Jewish family, Mamish converted. All their hearts and the sons of the kids to from school. But never this girl, she has problems. In Hebrew, obviously, she's just Jewish for 2 years. So it's hard for her. So here is this teacher, and Mamish, an evil woman, you know, she could have a shaitan from here all the way up to the seventh heaven. So whenever it's something that's to be said in Hebrew, she picks on this girl. The girl, it's hard for you, she can pronounce it, you know. If I go to Africa in the jungle and tell me, pronounce those names, I can. So one time, she asked this girl to say something, and the girl just, she couldn't pronounce it. So this woman, the teacher, goes to the blackboard and she makes, she says, "This is how your brains look like."
Oh.
Okay, then the shaman got so angry. Oh, Shem, I'm so proud of my daughter. She got up and she says, "You call yourself a teacher? Don't you know you're not permitted to put somebody to shame? You better throw yourself in fire." And then 7 more girls got up and the whole class was yelling. So she said, "I'm calling the principal." So you would say, the principal is like a valve, right? So 7 girls are called out of the principal. But it so happens that the father of this teacher happens to be also a very rich man. And he's supporting the school. So you cannot say anything bad. So the principal says to Mishamala, to the 7 girls, "I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you. You have no respect before the teacher." You know, if I would be Nishamala's father, do you know how much Yiddishkeit you pushed out from my daughter's heart? I don't even know with 10,000 tons of Yiddishkeit to bring back to Israel. This is the principle. It's the yeshiva. But anyway, I'm going back to Yoshe Ben. He was learning in a cheder, and and said enough in the Jewish community, who is a Rebbe in a cheder, has a long beard, has a yarmulke, and is a Rebbe. Is a Rebbe. He loves children like crazy. He kisses the kids day and night, and one of the cutest kids in the world. Kids are 5 years. And there was one boy, Nebuch, who has no father. And he also has no money to pay, right? So the Jewish community is paying this Rebbe a little bit, and he permits this Nebuch Offenboy to be in class. He always picks on him. Always picks on him. One time, he mamish put him to shame. When Rabbi Shlomo was 5 years old. Rabbi Shlomo. And he said, you paskudniak, you Eifel, you Eichel Yisrael, you murder. How dare you picking on a Yosem because he has no father, he has no money to pay you. He says, I'll never ever come to your cheder again. I don't want to toil from you. You're not a Yid. He kept his promise. He never came back. So his father had to hire a Rebbe for him. But don't listen to this. It's an awesome story. Rabbi Yoshe says, now he's 8. I was lying in bed. In Mamash, I saw the Malach Haomer was coming in. The angel of death came in to get me. Obviously, the show was already up there. Suddenly, the father of this little boy, the orphan, took him in. And he blocked the way for the angel of death. He says, someone who stands up for my child. The angel of death took off. Unbelievable, right? I told this young rabbi, if I only came from the end of the world to hear the story, it would have been worse. What do we know? I'm going to tell you one more Gewalt story. I don't know if I told it to you, but it's a good story. An Israeli family moved to America. And why did they move away? Because they hated Yiddishkeit. And also they wanted to get away from the whole thing, come to America and send your children to non-Jewish school and get rid of it. The most crazy thing happened one night. There was mamish ice on the highway. The woman was driving. And suddenly something happened. The car turned over 5 times and landed somewhere on a cliff. Well, after the shock is over, she realizes they are standing on the cliff, and if she moves, the car will go down again. But you cannot stay there forever. Her husband was sitting next to her. He was obviously in a coma. She had 3 children, 1 5, 1 7, 1 8. Then they had a baby of a few weeks. Sad enough, the baby was in the back of the car. One or the other, she realized, I cannot sit here forever. The kids were crying. I have to get out. She got out. One way, nothing happened to the car, stayed, and she picked up the children and put them on stable ground. Right? Says wait. But then she won't take out the baby. And she knew one thing, if I crawl in the car to get the baby, then the car tips over, and my husband is in a coma, will fall down, I'll fall down, the baby will fall down, and my 2 kids are alive. She doesn't know what happened. Somebody handed her the baby. Suddenly she has the baby in her hands, the baby was in the bag. And something happened, people from the highway saw this car, they called the ambulance. Anyway, they took care of her and the 3 children, and sadly, the husband was dead. It was clear to her. She came from a Frum family. She knew one thing, there's Elianovic somewhere. It was mamish clear to her in her heart, you know. Sometimes you have prophecy. It was clear to her that Elianovic came and handed her the baby. So she says, Mama, she have to go back to her tzchor and be a yid. Well, Elianovic saves my child. What am I going to do, right? So she went back, and she sent her children to Frum school. But this boy had a lot of trouble, because he went to Goyish school before, in America. And suddenly he is in the Frum school, his Hebrew isn't so good, especially Gemara, he just couldn't get it. And his teacher was a little bit rough on him, and the teacher says, okay, tomorrow is a big test, and if you don't know the Gemara, you might have to leave the school, you know. That night, before he went to sleep, he was crying. He says to his mother, tomorrow will be the worst of my life, because I will be put to shame, because I know I don't know the Gemara, and I don't know it. It just doesn't go. The next morning he woke up, he was mamish happy. This is what he told. He told his mother, do you know that my father came to me in my dream? It's not to be believed. He says, do you know that I was mamish in hell? On the day your wages in the yeshiva, they put me in Gan Eden. And I want you to know, I have a Rebbe in Gan Eden, and whatever you learn Gemara in this world, they're teaching me Gemara up there in Gan Eden. So he said to his father, can you teach me the Gemara the way they're learning it in heaven? So the whole Gemara he had been learning for weeks, and it didn't get into his head. His father, mamish, taught him in a dream. And obviously, from that moment on, his father opened all the gates for him. I was telling my Chavre, when did Rabbi Kiva come to the level of Musa Yovel Yodva Kemenu that a mamish want to die for him? Not before the 24,000. After the 24,000. When he realized what was missing, why didn't they give each other so much honor? Because to whom I give honor? If someone has something I'm ready to die for, Shval do I give him kavod. Kval do I give him kavod. You know what it means I'm ready to die for it? It means so much to me. It means so much to me. Anyway, Mamish, I want to bless you and me, friends, Mamish. I don't have to tell you. When that's all, Mamish. The simple Yidden. Mostly you will Yodi, you know. Anyway, friends, I want to bless you. Maybe we should, mamish, it should mean so much to us. It should mean so much to us. Oh, I just want to tell you one more thing. Torah should be served as Moshe Rabbeinu, the Rebbe, and the Yid. Secrets of the Torah is Reb Shimon Yochai and his son. Not Rebbe and Pure. Father and son. And it's in Eretz Yisrael. And Yisrael belongs to us, not because Moshe Rabbeinu are Rebbe, Yisrael belongs to us because of our fathers and mothers. What do we know? What do we know? I just want to bless you. We should have a taste. We should have a taste in the Torah. We should have a taste. We should have a taste. What do you say, Naomi? You know how crazy it is? You know, Yidden yelling at each other, being angry, and the deepest depths, they love each other so much, it's not to believe, right? Two of my friends, their mamish have become like blood enemies. Mamish blood enemies, I want to mention names. So, the wife of the one calls me up and she says, here, you're coming to Yerushalayim, you gotta mamish make peace with them, it's terrible. So, then it was a Tuesday night, I left the next morning, I was late, Pesach Sheni. I said, do me for both of you, I have time exactly 6 minutes. So, you know, whatever you have to say, don't give me long speeches. It came out, he was yelling at this one, so one said to the other, you know what you're doing? If you're taking away my parnasa, you're doing something. I won't forget it. So he says, I'm so sorry. You know, I didn't know it's your parnasa. We meant it. And the mama put his arms around him and says, no, mama, I want to help you. Tell me what you need. Couldn't believe it, you know. You know how deep this is? He didn't yell at each other. Can curse each other from here to doomsday. But when the other Yid says, you know, our mamish needed, just, I could see mamish suddenly was his best friend. It was so, it cut so deep into my heart, you know. Anyway, I want to bless you, you know, between like Haomer and Shavuos mamish. Oh, now I'm coming to the end, I forget the whole thing. After we count the Haomer, after I knock off under the golden plate prayer, so worship, please take me back. Take them back to the beginning. You know why we hated each other? Because I never heard my friend, my other Yid, praying the prayer of the golden plate. But when I count the Haomer, and I hear another Yid says, Yom, Yom, Gewalt, is this Yid praying for everything he lost, everything she lost, Gewalt. Give everything back to me. You know, there is nothing we're asking more than that. Everything. And God should give us back everything, everything in the world. And when we get it, we should know how to take care of it. I can only tell you, this Shabbos, because the Torahs is something whatever, and it's too deep to go into and it's late. The Shabbos is reading about the Kohen is not permitted to defile himself to dead body, but a mess mitzvah, you find a dead person over on the way. You know what is taking care of this person, you have to take care of. So here's the story. Classic story. The Heilige Rabbi Shlomo Radomske, who was a Kohen, basically when he saw the gates of heaven are closed, then he would begin cursing people until he opened the gates from the other side. So this poor schlepper comes to him And he says, Rebbe Mamish, I'm so poor, I have nothing. So he says, the Gemara says, only Choshev Gemes. If you have nothing, you're dead. He says, you know what, you're dead, and I'm not permitted to be in the same room with you. I'm a Kohen, get out of here. He pushes him out. By the door. Then the Yiddish says, the Yiddish is so broken. Rabbi Shlomo says, but you know something? This is never chames mitzvah. Never, nobody's taking care of you. So I bless you, you should be rich. I heard it, the story at the school from an old Radomski Chossid, and he says that he knew the grandchildren of this Yid, they were all multimillionaires. But the most important thing is mitzvah lemim neyomer and mitzvah mishvu. Sefiras Haomer has actually two parts: to count the days and to count the week. And all the rabbis say the same thing.
Count the days and the count
And the weeks.
and the
Mishvu. You know what's special about Sefiras Haomer? You cannot count the same day twice. You know what that means? God expects you to be like 100 miles ahead tomorrow. I said, listen, I like it here, I'm going slow. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. Tomorrow I want you to be in another place. The second thing which is awesome, if you forget one day, you're out. That's true. You know, we are so, we are so careless with days. I didn't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. You can't do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. There's a different number, different program. Then one more very important thing. I lost it. I forgot one day. You know what I need? I need a good friend. Because of a good friend, I'm getting back on the track. I'm standing next to someone who's making a bracha. And you see, especially in Sefiras Haomer, I just want to make it fast. You know, this month is called Iyar, it's Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rochel. And it's just in a nutshell. Then it says it's glorious Yotzes, the right kidney, in a super nutshell, and it's the month of Yisachar. And the letter is Vav. Awesome. You know what Yisachar is all about? Yoda bin al itim. You have to know what day it is, what time it is. That's what's up. You know, sometimes you talk to somebody about Yiddishkeit, and they talk to you like you are somewhere for 3 hours. He says, I won't let you go unless you swear to me. But the greatest thing was, she says, Rebbe, I can't do it by myself. He says, I promise you, you'll find your soulmate tomorrow morning. The Rebbe let her go at 6. She came to the Holy Wall at 7, to make it very short. By 7:30, she found her soulmate. She was looking, she got on a chair on the women's side, and she looked over, and she saw this one of our Holy Hippolyte. You know what it is? A male, right? You have to know exactly what we're at. What do we know, right? What's Yisachar? What's Yisachar all about? Sefiras Haomer, I know exactly today it's this number. Tomorrow it doesn't go this number anymore. It was a very holy number yesterday. I made a bracha over it. Today, I need another number. I just want you to know, my father, when I was little, my father told me over a medrash, which my holy father heard from his brother, Rabbi Nachem, who was the chief rabbi in Cologne. And during the First World War, he was the rabbi of the Jews in Poland. This is also a cash Torah to remember. Avram came to Shem, It says, "Who hoits the lechem yoin?" And I'm sure most of you remember my tape is, I think, commercial. He brought out wine and bread. So my holy uncle, Rabbi Nachman, said to my father, he found an unbelievable medrash. Wine is good when it's old. The older it gets, the better is the wine. Bread is only good when it's fresh. Shem says to Avraham, you'll be the one who teaches the world about God. You have to know exactly when to come with old stuff, when to come with fresh. He gave him over the secret when to dish up wine and dish up bread. Remember Samuel, I told it 1,000 times here. This is Yisroch. Yoda Binoli. You have to know exactly what's going on. And then Chloe's Yotzes. You have to trust your inside. Deepest inside. I tell you, imagine if those people, Pesach Sheni, would have called up all the rabbis, can I bring a Pesach on the 14th of year? Say, no, the Torah said the 14th and that's it. But the inside says, no, it can't be, I'm crying for it inside. I'm crying for it. Like Kishkas are crying. The wife Kishka, right? And the letter is Vov. This is the deepest. You know, there's two kinds of thoughts. There's a thought, should I buy apples, should I buy peaches? Good. You know what hero is? There is something so deep. I think about it the whole time, even though I'm not aware of it. Thinking about it all the time. The deepest question in the world is, what are you thinking about all the time? That means I'm reaching into the roots of my thinking. Where are you at? You know, if I'm thinking all the time about money, mit schwach, right? What are you thinking about all the time? That's just fixing. Himmlisch als Wort behören. That my thinking inside should be connected between heaven and earth. Anyway, Mama Shlomo, what time is it? What?
Shlomo, kiedyś do Rabuna? Rabbi Shlomo ben Akashi Haomer רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות ישראל לפי חלק למען תורה מצוות שנאמר דרכו ותאמר צדקה תורה ויעלה זכר לזכת שמי רבו ועומד ונכנסה ויחליף מלכסה ויעצמח תרקוד וכל משיחי חי יכולים ויוכלנו וחי תכל בית ישראל בעגלות זמן קריבים ונאמן יש מי רבו מורח לא למלמי יסברו ושתפת מספר וספר מסנס וסדר 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 ושמי ושקב ליחו דרך כל בחוץ ושירות ותשבחוץ ורחמות דמין על במה ונאמן על ישראל והרבנם על תלמידים וכל תלמידי תלמידים וכל מן דעס ורעיסו Die Wasser und dem bechol asar, die haben von Shlomo Rabbi Shlomo und Chilta Brachman, Chai Arich und Zere Bechel Bekur Mekor Avon die Bishma Bimro Men. יש לנו רב משמעי וחיים טובים עלינו כל ישראל במן אמן. לא איזה שלום בברום ואוביאס וברחמון איזה שלום עלינו כל ישראל במן אמן. We're going to do more also. So the briefing is doing
Is that what you want to do downstairs? I don't have it with me. But somebody else has it. Huda? Shlomo has it.
Two announcements I want to make. Okay?